Welcome to the part 2 of the lesson Understanding Marginalization. Let us go to the topic Minorities and Marginalization. The term minority is commonly used to refer to the communities that are numerically small in relation to the rest of the population. However, it is a concept that goes way beyond just the numbers. It encompasses issues of power, access to resources, and has a social cultural dimension. The Indian Constitution recognized that the culture of the majority influences the way in which the society and government may express themselves. In such cases, size can be a disadvantage and lead to marginalization of smaller communities. Some of the minorities in India are the Muslims, the Sikhs, the Christians, the Buddhists, Jains, etc. Thus, safeguards are necessary to protect the minority communities against the possibility of being culturally dominated by the majority. The Constitution of India provides these safeguards because it is committed in protecting India's cultural diversity and also promote equality and justice. Every citizen of India can approach the court if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated. Now, let us go to the next subtopic, the Muslims and marginalization in India. According to the 2011 census, the Muslims constitute 14.2% of India's population, and India is a home to second largest Muslim population in the world after Indonesia. The Muslims are considered to be marginalized community in India today because in comparison to other communities, they have been deprived of the benefits of socio-economic development. Let us look at the minority report. 1/4 of 370,000 beggars and destitutes in India are Muslims. Only 8.5% population of Muslims are employed in government jobs. The enrollment rate of Muslims in schools is only 13.8 compared to all India 23.6%. The literacy rate of Muslims is also very low compared to other minorities in India. Looking at these figures, the government felt it should recognize the Muslims in India as they were lagging behind. The government set up a high-level committee in 2005 chaired by Justice Rajinder Sachar, and it was called as the Sachar Committee. The committee examined the social, economic, and educational status of Muslims in India. The report discusses in detail the marginalization of the Muslim community. The report suggests that on the range of social, economic, and educational indicators, the situation of Muslim community is comparable to that of the other minorities such as the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. For example, according to the report, the average years of schooling for Muslim children between 7 to 16 years is much lower. The economic and social marginalization experienced by Muslims has other dimensions as well. Like other minorities, Muslim customs and practices are sometimes quite distinct from what is seen as the mainstream. For example, keeping a beard or wearing a burqa. But not all Muslims may wear a burqa or sport a long beard or wear a fez, and this becomes ways to identify all the Muslims. This becomes an excuse to treat them unfairly and discriminate against them. The wearing style of the Muslim women, which is burqas, and the cap that the Muslim men wear. But this is not the case of all the Muslims, and that's why we have many Muslims being marginalized on the way they look or the way they present themselves. This social marginalization of Muslims in some instances has led to them migrating from places where they have lived, often leading to ghettoization of community. Sometimes this prejudice leads to hatred and violence. Marginalization results in having low social status and not having equal access to education and other resources. The marginalized communities want to maintain their cultural distinctiveness, while others having access to rights, development, and other opportunities. We as Indians should be given this chance, don't we? Something to think about. I hope you have understood this lesson well. Thank you for your patient hearing.